Have you ever been in a situation where you ask your real estate agent certain questions and they're either dancing around the question altogether, not answering them, or maybe they're not giving you any response whatsoever, and you're wondering, well, why is that? Is the real estate agent just not capable, knowledgeable, lazy? They just don't want to look up the information. And so what we're going to talk about today is questions. 5 questions that your real estate agent is most likely not going to be answering you, and what you can actually do about that, where you can get the information so you can answer your own question for yourself. If you're new to this channel, my name is Katrin Fitzmatt. I'm a real estate agent in Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, and Venice. Whether you're looking to purchase or even list your home in the area, I would love to team up with you. Call me, email me anytime. And without further ado, we're going to get right into this video. I'm going to give you an example. I got an email today from a viewer. Thank you for watching, by the way, if you're watching right now. Yeah, I didn't answer that question. And I'm going to read the question to you. I continue hearing that racism is a problem still, and I wonder if that really is the case in Florida. Well, no, I can't answer that question, first of all, for ethical reasons, but also what you need to know is that there's the Fair Housing Act, which was enacted in 1968, and it's actually part of the Civil Rights Act. It's a federal law that essentially prohibits discrimination in the sale, rental, and financing of housing based on race, color, religion, national origin, disability, sex, and familial status. The law specifically prohibits discrimination utilizing advertising, blockbusting, and steering practices by real estate agents and brokers. Now, I'm going to say this, that if this act didn't even exist, I wouldn't even answer that question for ethical reasons, and also knowing that my perception is going to be so different from yours. And I have a really powerful quote to kind of allude to what I'm talking about, and that is, perception is reality, and my perception is going to be so different than your perception because I'm seeing the world through my own lens, right? And so my reality is going to be different than anyone else's reality. Even if I were allowed to answer those questions, it wouldn't make sense to answer them because I'm not you. You're best off getting the information yourself. So let's review what questions I'm actually talking about. Number 1, and I get this question all the time and it makes sense. And that question is this a safe neighborhood? We want to make sure that wherever we move to, I think most of us want to make sure that our family are safe and that we can go about life in a tranquil manner. And that is a question that we can't answer. And so the best thing that you can do is go to the police station and go directly to the source, right, where they're dealing with crime all the time, get their feedback. What you can also do is that there's a lot of different websites online that actually focus on crimes and specifically what crimes have been happening in a specific location over time. Now, here's something that you need to also try out for yourself if you haven't yet, and that is an AI system that has become really popular called ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT that question. I'm going to show you an example. We're going to use ChatGPT to find out if Palmer Ranch in Sarasota is a safe neighborhood to live in. So I'm going to type it in, and here's what I've gotten. Palmer Ranch is a suburban neighborhood in Sarasota, Florida, and overall it is considered a relatively safe place to live. Crime rates in Palmer Ranch are lower than the national average, with a crime rate that is 71% lower than the state average and 65% lower than the national average. So maybe this is a good first source, but also I would say be cautious with the information that ChatGPT comes up with because it's not always correct. And so again, it's always best to go to the original source. Number 2 question is this an upscale neighborhood? If you're here and you're shopping for a house and you're driving around the neighborhood, you can answer that question yourself, right? And I always suggest that you actually come here and experience Sarasota and all the different neighborhoods for yourself because, first of all, it's so hard to explain these neighborhoods on videos without showing you visuals. Emotionally, how you're going to feel in a neighborhood is going to be very different from me. Is it an upscale neighborhood? No, I can't answer that question. I can tell you what the price points are. When someone asks that question, there is a chance that they're kind of alluding to kind of the race aspect in order to eliminate any possibilities of discrimination. And that's essentially what the Fair Housing Act is trying to do, it's trying to fight against discrimination and segregation by ensuring that everybody has equal rights when it comes to housing. Number 3 is this a family-friendly neighborhood? And I get it. You have kids, or maybe you have teenagers at home, and you want to make sure that wherever you're moving to, that they also feel comfortable in the neighborhood. And perhaps you're ensuring through this method of moving into a neighborhood where there are a lot of kids, that the chances of them making friendships and feeling much more comfortable in a new situation is far greater, right? Because you've now moved into a place where there's like-age people in that neighborhood. Let's just say I answer that question and I said, well, no, this neighborhood is not family friendly. Then it's discriminating against those people who have kids. And so best thing you do is meet people in the neighborhood. Again, maybe talk to somebody who's walking their dog, or maybe go to a playground where there's kids, or maybe if teenagers are playing tennis in that community, ask them directly, ask the parents. That's the best way you're actually going to be able to get that information. Now, the reverse is true as well. Maybe you're somebody that's looking to move into a much more mature neighborhood with not a lot of kids around, and so you're best to doing your own research as well. What you could also do, I'm not sure if they're allowed to actually answer that question, but you may be able to call the HOA, the Homeowners Association, and ask them. Now, this question is very much in line with, is this a family-friendly neighborhood? And that question is, well, how's the schools in this neighborhood? Which schools are the best ones in Sarasota? Is school A better than school B? When it comes to education, what one person feels is a good educational platform, the other person may not agree with. And so my recommendation is get preliminary information online. You can go to the county school website and you'll get a better idea of all the schools that are in that particular county, what their teaching style is. And once you have a good idea of kind of what schools you may be interested in, get some time with the school administrator, maybe have a meeting with them, talk to them, ask them all the questions that you may have. Also walk around the school. They'll be more than happy to show you around the school and see how you feel, because if you don't feel good in it, you're probably not going to want to send your child there. 5th question is, what's the demographical makeup? Is this a diverse neighborhood? No, can't answer that. Maybe there's online information that you can find in terms of the demographical breakdown. Drive around the neighborhood, see who lives there, see if you feel comfortable there. And so if you find yourself wanting to ask those questions to a real estate agent, don't, please, because you're putting them in a really uncomfortable situation because they're not legally allowed to answer those questions. And I also don't think they should do it, ethically speaking, right? And so I get a lot of comments on my videos, right? Especially those videos that talk about the top 10 places to live or the top 5 places to live in Florida. And people say, well, she's never talking about the crime. She's not talking about the homeless situation. People, we're not allowed to. We can't, okay? But you have the internet, you have other people you can call and ask them that question if it's really that important. And now with ChatGPT becoming so popular, ask ChatGPT. But again, take it with a grain of salt because it's not always correct. Best thing again to do always is spend some time in the place that you're so interested in moving to. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, please like this video. And if you're somebody that's looking to purchase or sell in the Sarasota and Manatee County area, I would love to be your realtor of choice. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I always appreciate it when you guys do. Take care.